Hello, I'm Alma Schneider. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and the proud mother of 4 children, one of whom has Prader-Willi syndrome.
And I am Iris Miller. I'm a certified rehabilitation counselor and the proud mother of 2 children, one of whom has quadriplegic cerebral palsy and is nonverbal.
In this podcast, we discuss the uncensored truth about raising children with disabilities.
Prepare to laugh, cry, and hopefully learn something new.
This is 2 Moms, No Fluff. Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2 Moms, No Fluff. We are here to talk about the uncensored truth about raising children with disabilities. We thank you very much for returning to our podcast. And if this is your first time, welcome. We hope you'll get what you need. And I'm here with my partner, Iris Miller, and she's going to introduce you to the topic for today.
Alma, hello. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I would introduce the topic and then tell you how you are related to my day today. Beyond the podcast right now. Obviously, we're recording a podcast at this moment. So first of all, today we're going to talk about taking a break and how to take a break when you're constantly caregiving and there's no stopping. When you're the main primary caregiver and your child needs 24/7 support, it is hard, sometimes impossible, to really take a real break. But today we're going to give you some help, advice, and recommendations of things that worked for us. And today I'll begin with something that Alma, my friend here, told me yesterday, and here I am doing it today.
Oh my goodness, what a good student. I'm dying to hear what this is.
Yes. So first of all, a necessary disclosure. Everybody, I know that you see us on Zoom. Now, Zoom, as some of you might know, has this filter that makes your skin looks much better than it is in reality. Let's face it, I do not look like that. If you would have met me in the street today, you would see that the situation is basically not that, how do I say, it's not even, basically, okay, I haven't slept all night.
It's not true, because I've seen you many times in person and you look just as good, if not better, in real life than on this Zoom. So that's all I'm going to say.
Alma, thank you. I would have my husband listen to this part of the episode time and time again until he internalizes how amazing I really am. Thank you for that. But Alma was telling me yesterday that every day a person should do something for themselves. And with that, I have started the day, people, with going to Target to buy myself eye and face cream because my skin is so dry and peeling. And just by doing something small for myself, I am telling you, it wasn't a break. I went to Target, not by myself. I had one of my children with me, but yet the purpose of the trip was to upgrade my life. And even though I was still caring for one of my kids, and it wasn't just me browsing around the aisles, having that cream, putting it on my face was such a breath of fresh air. So thank you, Alma, for making me think of myself first and starting the day with my needs first thing in the morning. It's very rare for me, so I appreciate that.
I'm glad.
And I'll let you tell the audience a little bit about how you take a break, and then I have many more other examples.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad to see that I've had a positive influence on your day. That makes me feel very good. And your skin, and yes. Your beautiful skin. So let's call these micro breaks, because as you mentioned, oftentimes we don't have the time for a break. And a break does, we all think about a break being like lying on the couch with your feet up, with a mask on or whatever it is. Breaks can mean very different things to different people. It's basically just a way to recharge. It could be something very small, and it could even just be the idea that you're thinking of yourself, like that made you feel good, that you took control of you identified a need that you had, you actually allowed yourself to think, what would make me feel good, and then you acted on it. And that's very empowering. I have to say, that's very empowering. So some of the things that I do, oh, she's got the cream right there. Good for
Yes.
you. She's the proof. She's proving it because she wasn't sure that we believe her, but she just held up her cream. Um, Something that I think that we can all fit into our day, no matter what we're doing, is I just turned my phone off. It's for my daughter calling me for the millionth time. That's a way that I take care of myself. And it's a break. Every 30 minutes, if you just get up every 30 minutes and walk around your house and do chores and set your alarm for every 30 minutes. I've seen people do this and I'm like, what are they doing? But I just read that if you get up every 30 minutes and just walk around for 2 minutes, it's just as good for your blood sugar as it is to exercise for a designated hour, for that 1 hour during the day. So if you're interspersing like a little bit of exercise throughout your day, that is something that is really good for your body. And we can all do that in some way. Even if we're working, we can stand up and walk around the room as we're on the phone, or, you know, whatever it is. We can walk around doing chores in the house or in your office. There's lots of stuff that we can do while walking around. So that's something that I'm really trying to do. Just be conscious of the fact that, I don't want to just sit in a chair all day. And that is something we can all fit into our day, I believe.
Alma, that's a good one. And I am going to again adapt the tip and do it myself when I'm uploading episodes and sitting for hours on end in front of the computer. Now I put a timer and I'll walk around the house. Amazing. Teach me new things. So I want to share that at the beginning of the early years with my children, I was so stressed out and unrested that I could feel the tension in my body all the time. I was just tense, and that caused a lot of back pain, and B, I could just like feel myself getting stiff, also from like nursing and holding one child because he was a baby and the other child because she had CP, and I needed something, and financial wise, we couldn't always afford, let's say, to go to get a massage or something like that. So the thing that would help me was to take a bath, a nice long relaxing bath. But I discovered that I can't even sit in a bath and relax because I was so kind of, I guess, traumatized with my own life that I would get into a bath and I would constantly hear or imagine that I hear one of my kids crying or something falling or something, and I couldn't just be in a state of relaxation. So my solution for that was that, let's say, Saturday mornings or some other time during the weekend, I would send my husband with both my kids for a walk. So I cognitively know that whatever I'm hearing is not coming from our apartment, not from our house, and that they are out and about. And I had my phone next to me on. If they needed me, they could call. And then I could allow myself to kind of actually listen to music because I was afraid to listen to music in the bathtub in case they need me. So I listen to music and totally check out and find that half an hour to just not think of everybody else and try to relax. So I highly recommend, if you feel that you can't relax even when you have an opportunity to relax, to figure out a way that you can remove yourself from danger, if that's the term. And if it works for me, I hope it can work for others.
Good. That is an excellent one. It reminds me of Ferberizing the babies, having me leave the house so that I wouldn't have to Ferberize, and I let my husband deal with it. Something else that I have started doing recently that may not seem like a big deal to many people, but I have started staying in bed right after my kids leave. I either lie on the couch, and not everyone is able to do this, but if you are able to do this, lying on the couch or lying in my bed, drinking my coffee. Sounds very simple, but just even for 10 or 15 minutes to be in bed seems like such a decadent, hedonistic thing to do, but it's really not. It's not that big a deal. But for me, and we all need to find things that resonate for us, that's going to be relaxing for us. that is it's only like 10 or 15 minutes, but for me, it is such a nice thing. I force myself not to be on my phone, and I just sit there calmly decompressing, because it's usually very stressful once my kids are out of the house, getting them ready and then getting them out. I decompress instead of jumping right into the next thing. I just hang out for 10 or 15 minutes drinking my hot coffee, and I really look forward to it. I like my coffee really hot with almond milk in it. And I just lay in bed doing that. And it's a micro break. It's a short little break. And I've also alternated with sitting in front of my window that faces our local park, and I drink looking outside at nature. So that's something else that kind of decompresses me. It's a very short time, but it kind of makes me regroup, and I consider that a break.
Alma, that's wonderful. And micro breaks are very important and necessary, and many times the only way that us caregivers can really take a break, if we can call it that. And I think that there is a lot to be said about our self-perception and what is like, I don't know, expected from us. I know that I find it hard to lie or sit on the sofa in the middle of the day. I feel that even now, when we have caregivers for Karen 24/7, I feel guilty sitting on my own sofa in my own house, that it's not allowed to be rested or unproductive.
Right.
And my hidden excuse for that, and I'll go and I'll make myself the cup of coffee you mentioned, not with almond milk, because I'm less of a good person than you are, with whole milk, organic, but whole milk, and but decaf, because I don't really do well with caffeine. And I'll sit on the sofa and I will go and do our Instacart shopping. And I buy our groceries on Instacart like that. And then I get a physical rest, and I can put my legs up on the table and order the groceries for the house. And I know, and people are always telling me, but it's more expensive than going to the store. But for me, this is my break. This is how I buy my break. And physically going to the store is sometimes such an effort. If it's not the physical effort of bringing Karen with her equipment and aid to the store with me, it's the emotional effort of leaving one child behind, as I just told you I did this morning when I went to Target with only one of my kids. So for me, being able to be present, be at home, be in my children's vicinity, but being still productive, even though I'm on the sofa, feels the best. I absolutely love it. And it's almost like, for me, pressing on that Instacart, sorry, not Instagram, but Instacart app, it's almost like a state of relaxation immediately. I'm just like scrolling through and pressing milk, bread, coffee, and my life is instantly better.
I get it. I get it. It's just whatever works for us, and what we're just giving suggestions and trying to get you to open your minds up, people, about what would be meaningful to you. We're just sharing what was meaningful to us. Something else that I do as a micro break is that while I'm driving, and this is only if you're able to concentrate on something that you're listening to as well as drive, is I love listening to podcasts when I'm driving somewhere. And to me, that is such a break. And it can be something that's frivolous, like the Dolly Parton podcast that talks all about her life, or it could be something profound having to do with, politics or philosophy or mental health, just something that I'm interested in that I get to listen to while I'm driving to get somewhere that I have to get in the car and pick up my kids or run errands. Listening to a podcast is such a treat for me. I haven't for a little while listened to the books on Audible while I'm driving, but I listen to podcasts while I'm driving, and I love it. It is like a special treat for me. I used to get so upset when my kids were late and I used to wait for them to get out of the person's house where I was picking them up from. Now I couldn't care less how late they are because I am listening to my podcast and I'm completely engaged and entertained. So that's another little treat for myself that
I
I
have a
definitely continue.
recommendation for you, Alma.
Ooh, let's
I
hear it.
know that you're going to love it. It's a podcast about the uncensored truth of raising kids with disabilities. It's called Two
I
Moms No
can't
Fluff,
wait.
and it goes so well with your drive and also doing the dishes, cleaning the
Yes.
floor, and just going on a walk. Try it and
Yep.
let me know what you think about that
All
one.
right. Oh, I'm
Anyway,
intrigued.
yeah. So I think I talked to a point about listening to music a little bit, and we all know how music influences the brain and how it
Mm.
can, without actually taking a physical or mental break, it helps kind of alleviate your spirit. How do you call it? No, I didn't say the right
Lift
word.
your spirit.
Lift your
Lift your
spirit, yes,
spirit.
and alleviate your kind of burdens and worries. So I found out that it is impossible for me. We talked about PTSD for parents of kids with disabilities. I could not
Mhm.
like go to my bedroom and listen to music. I couldn't. I had to constantly be in control and hear. Even though I knew there was a caregiver with my daughter, even if the caregiver was my husband, I was just too traumatized and I had to listen in the entire time, be on the alert. But
Ooh.
when I was in the living room with my daughter and my son, then I could listen to music. So
Mm.
I had music playing in the background while I was doing the caregiving, the diaper changing, the dressing, the undressing, the
Mhm.
teaching and helping with the painting, etc.
Yep.
That was really lovely until my kids became too opinionated, and now I'm forced to listen to Hamilton for the 127th time a day because someone else determines what we listen to. But I
Yes.
really do invite everybody to enjoy the benefits of music.
Mhm.
Putting music in the background really does change the mood.
Mhm. You're absolutely right. Another micro break that can be done 24/7 is focusing on your breathing. And one of the ways in which I remind myself to just focus on my breathing to de escalate um, is I have a little picture of the Om sign sign for meditation, and I also have a little Buddha that I got at Kripalu when I went to a yoga retreat that I purchased, and I tape them to my car dashboard so that again when I'm driving, which I do a lot during the day, I can just it serves as a little reminder and I just focus on my breathing no matter what I'm doing. And again, these are things that we can do throughout the day to avoid getting into some kind of a mental crisis, to get real, to not be agitated, to not, sometimes we're not even aware of how stressed out we are, and it builds and builds and builds. It's not even conscious, and then we can crack or explode or whatever it is. These are all little things that we need to incorporate into our day, and they're all doable. Even talking about the coffee, if you have to run out of the house to go to work after your kids go to school and you don't have time for that, maybe think about if you really enjoy lying in your bed drinking coffee, getting up before the kids get up and then going to bed a little earlier if you need to catch up on your sleep that way. You're just switching up how you divide up the sleep hours. So breathing, simply being aware of taking in 4 breaths and letting out 7 counts. Breathing in 4 beats and then letting it out 7 beats is a really great way to focus on regulating your breathing. And that again can be done whenever.
Alma, I want to extend your kind of thought about breathing, which is really, really important, nice, and also helps calm an anxiety very much.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, there's an addition to the technique that you are using that maybe you and our audience want to try, and that is like taking in 4, holding in 5, and then releasing 7.
Yes.
And that's
good too.
also maybe an interesting exercise. No matter what you're doing, you can breathe in 10 if you want and hold,
Yeah.
and I don't know, hold for 2. Whatever works for you. It's just remembering to focus on something that helps calm the nervous system, and breathing, breath work is one technique. So that being said, you can put little things around the house. Like, for example, we came back from India and we had a lot of like tiny elephants, but you can use those to remind your kids when you are in front of this, I don't know, elephant or whale or whatever little statue in the house, remember to take a deep breath. And that's kind of like reminding the children in the house that there are opportunities during the day to stop and focus in and take a deep breath, and help calm their nervous system as they are going throughout their daily activities. And I know for a lot of kids with disabilities, self-regulation is a challenge. So that's
Yes.
something that is in the physical environment that brings the attention back in. That being said, my next tip for taking a break without taking a break while caregiving, and I know that this doesn't work for all children, but if you have a child that you can take out of the house with you, taking your child on a walk, whether you're pushing them in a stroller, a wheelchair, or they can physically walk beside you, then I highly recommend that. It's good not just to kind of change environments, because the moment that you're out of the house, the energy changes, but
Yes.
it's also a good physical exercise, and that really, really helps calm the nervous system. If you can, and now that we live in Michigan, the option is right outside our door to walk in nature. And if you can walk somewhere that there are many, many trees, the technique of EMDR, the rapid eye movement, really helps with trauma and integrating, traumatic feelings and emotions. So just having that change in light while you walk outside in a forest can really, really calm the nervous system. So I highly recommend that.
It's very, very true. Nature, so many studies showing that nature is very calming to the nervous system. Which brings me to binge watching on Netflix or some other. You see how I made that connection, which wasn't really a connection. There is a way, it may seem very decadent and luxurious to watch TV during the day. However, whether you're working from home or you are working in the office, there are certain tasks that we can do while also watching TV. And there is nothing wrong with folding laundry or doing dishes or doing paperwork while having, paperwork that you do not need to focus on that much. But if it's some kind of busy work, having your favorite show on and watching it, even having something that you don't have to have your eyes on it, like watching The Voice or American Idol, where you're just listening to the singing and the comments, where you don't have to have your eyes glued to the TV. There are so many things that can be done while not just listening to podcasts, but watching TV while you are folding laundry. And who says we can't watch TV while we're doing laundry? I mean, there is nothing wrong with that. And it might be a way to feel like you're treating yourself, but it's also, you're involved with pop culture, so you know what's going on when everybody's talking about the latest episode of Rami, for example. And let me bring up Rami for a second. Do you know that one of the stars of Rami that's on Hulu is going to be our guest speaker for the Disability Pride Parade in Montclair this year? His name is Steve Way. He is a disability advocate, disability rights advocate, and an actor and a comedian. And stay tuned for that. That's we're very excited about that. That's May 20th in the Disability Pride Parade. But anyway, I've been meaning to follow up on the 3rd season of Rami, and I planned on doing that this week while I'm folding laundry. That's my girl break.
Alma, I think that all in all, there are probably people listening today that are saying, what are they talking about? I need to just pack a suitcase and leave this house altogether. And so
Mhm.
this is your sentiment, and you have the ability to leave your kid behind and really go on vacation. I want to again mention Mother's Rest. We talked about
Mhm.
it in another episode, and we also hosted the woman who just came up with this brilliant charity idea and is now running it. And her name is Andrea, and she was on one of our episodes. Please do take advantage of a Mother's Rest, because it's not just an opportunity to take a break and take a rest. It's also an opportunity to connect and interact with other parents who are caregivers, and we are stronger together. So I highly recommend that.
Yes, that's a real break. That's a real break. So, all right. Well, that's all I have for today. Do you have anything else, Iris, that you'd like to add? I'm sure that we're going to be coming up with a lot more of these in future episodes, but
Yeah, as usual, this is one of those topics that, again, our little tricks and tips that we share today are just the tip of the iceberg. We love it when others share their ideas and their experiences. You can either write to us at info@twomomsnofluff.com or join our Facebook group or our confidential online support group and share your thoughts, experiences, and tips with us, because we learn every day from you guys. So
yes, we do.
thank you for joining us. If you would like to get our monthly newsletter, please also subscribe at info@twomomsnofluff.com. And also give us, please, 5-star rating so other parents of kids with disabilities can listen to this podcast as well. The more ratings we get, the more audience we can reach. So thank you, Alma, and thank you to all of our
Iris.
listeners. And we'll see you all next week.
All right. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
For more information, please go to www.twomomsnofluff.com. Thank you.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe and give it a 5-star rating so more people can hear it. Thank you.